And this was the first area of the Robinson design plan, looking at Lake Timicau, because that's where we're seeing some of the biggest road impacts. Lake Timicau between the Eagle Nest and up around Lot 88, as well as Pelican Flight from Lake Timicau up to Lake Timicau Dock. And so this is just one of the aspects that, as a staff, we're looking at for some directions and looking at the threshold the community has for managing these sunny day flooding events. And for example, 1A is the intersection between Lake Timicau and Pelican Flight. And you can see the roadway there is at a 4-foot elevation. And so that's going to stay dry until you get to about a 7-foot tide. And then you have flooding, which many of you have witnessed. And say you want to bring up that roadway section and you want it to be dry all through up to an 8-foot tide cycle, then you can go over to the chart where it says below 5-foot elevation, and you can see to build up that section you need 227 cubic yards of material on kind of the low side. A dump truck holds about 10 cubic yards of material. So you can see the amount of material that would be needed to build up the road. Now granted, that's an 8-foot tide. Maybe the threshold is a 7-foot tide. And on the low side, then you only need 18 cubic yards of material, and that's two trucks. We were optimistic for a time that our quarry, Murray Sand, would be able to provide us quite a few dump trucks. In the past, they've only given us 1 or 2 trucks per barge. We had 5 and 6 some barges, but now they're pulling back as well. So we may say, okay, we want to do 1,183 cubic yards of material to build that whole section up to 8 foot, but getting that amount of material on the barge to build those up is a very big limiting factor that we would have to consider and work out. Carol?
Yeah, this is all assuming the breach is not covered, correct?
Thank you for your question. So this is where, are we going to do one scenario? Are we going to do a combination of scenarios to supplement each other? Maybe you all, after the presentation, decide that, we want to, do this with the breach and, work at the below elevation, the elevation 4 foot on the low side, so that it gives us some buffer together. But we're kind of just today laying it out for you all to see kind of what we're dealing with. And all of the scenarios, whether it's the breach closure, it's building up the road, there's a third potential option we might be able to consider that I'll share with, they all require material.